Hello everyone, hoping you're having a good day today. I just wanted to stop by for a few moments during my lunch break and give you a couple of thoughts on a difference between Satan and Jesus. So, as you probably have been able to tell, I've been very interested in the nature of the kingdom in the past year and a half or so. And specifically, I've been interested in the difference between the violent nature of how empire normally works and the non-violent nature of the kingdom of heaven. Passages like in the book of John, if my kingdom were of this world, then my servants would come and fight, things like that. So one of the interesting themes that comes up, especially in this lesson that I'm preparing for a lectureship, online lectureship that's coming up next month, is the contention between the heavenly kingdom and the earthly kingdom in the book of Revelation, which boils down to a war between Christ and Satan. When we talk about the difference between Christ and Satan, we have to keep in mind what Satan is. Yes, we have this idea of the person of Satan, the snake and whatnot. But when we're talking about Satan here, I want us to keep in mind of the way that keep in mind the way that Jesus used it in Matthew 16 when he talked to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan." If you recall in Matthew 4, right, Jesus had this interaction with Satan, and the last thing that's said in Matthew's account, not in Luke's account, is, "Bow down before me and all the kingdoms that you see here will be yours," which is another way of saying, bow down to this idea of a violent, earthly, fleshly kingdom, and you can have all that you see. Right? Bow down to that idea, bow down to that principle. Give in to the normal way that things work in the world, right? And Peter wants to do the same thing in Matthew 16. It's not so, Lord, you're not going to die. You're the Christ. You're the Messiah. We're not going to let you die. We're going to take up our swords and fight for you. And Jesus says again there, "Get thee behind me, Satan." So, one of the major differences between Christ and Satan is this idea of violence. Specifically, using violence to establish a kingdom, right? Now, what's a cool way to illustrate this that I was thinking about this morning, because we have talked about this idea quite a bit before, is in 1 Peter 5. I happened to be listening to a podcast on an unrelated subject, and this passage was almost brought up. It was near enough for me to think about it. A passage in the context was brought up. In 1 Peter 5, the scripture says that Satan walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Well, Jesus is also described as a lion, right? And the book of Revelation, he's the lion of the tribe of Judah. He is referred to as a lion prophetically in passages such as Genesis chapter 49, right? So, Satan walks around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Jesus, on the other hand, is also a lion, but instead of walking around seeking whom he may devour, he establishes his kingdom by appearing as a lamb that was slain, not for the purpose of devouring, but for the purpose of reconciliation and offering reconciliation to everyone. And so it's that little difference there about the two ways that the lion works is just interesting to me, and I believe really shows and demonstrates the difference between these two kingdoms. The one walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, and the other has the power of a lion, but limits himself and humbles himself to the state of a lamb, willing to sacrifice himself for reconciliation, not for devouring. All right, that's it. Quick little 4 minutes there for you. Hope you have a good day. God bless. See you tonight, Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern for our Wednesday night Bible study. Bye-bye.